All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling a huge question in the world of AI. How do we build autonomous agents that don't just, fall over at the first sign of trouble? These things can handle incredibly complex jobs, but that same complexity makes them super fragile. So let's break down a new playbook for building them to last.
This quote from a developer on Reddit it hits the nail on the head. This is the reality. We're not talking about simple bugs anymore. When any single step in a long, complicated chain can fail, maybe a network glitch, an API rate limit, or just a weird response from the LLM, the old way of just throwing everything out and starting over, that's a total nightmare. It's expensive, it's slow, and honestly, we need a much better way.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to really unpack why these agents fail in such unique ways. Then, we'll get into a whole new philosophy for how to build them. We'll break that down into three main pillars: making sense of autonomy, building in true resilience, and setting up the ultimate guardrails. And finally, we'll look at what this all means for the future.
So what's the deal? Why do our old debugging tools just completely fall flat here? Well, it's because agentic AI isn't just another piece of software. It's a totally different beast. It's dynamic, it's unpredictable, and it breaks in ways we've just never really seen before.
Think about it like this. Traditional software, that's like a factory assembly line. It's linear, it's predictable, every step is laid out. Agentic AI, though, is more like a freelance detective. It's got its own memory, its own internal state, it makes its own choices, and it plans for the long term. You can't just stick a breakpoint in a detective's thought process and expect to understand what's going on.
And this is where you get these terrifying new ways things can go wrong. Some folks are calling it loop drift. This is that nightmare scenario where the agent just won't stop. It gets stuck in a loop, doing the same thing over and over, burning through money on API calls, all because it subtly misunderstood that its job was actually finished. It's a fundamental breakdown of trust in the machine. Okay, so to tackle these new problems, we need a completely different way of thinking. The goal can't be to create a perfect, flawless AI that never messes up. That's a fool's errand. Instead, the real goal is to build robust systems that can handle the fact that our AIs will inevitably make mistakes. And that really boils down to this one crucial question. For so long, the Holy Grail was a perfect generator, an LLM that would give you a flawless, perfectly structured answer on the very first try. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? What if all we really need is a good enough generator, as long as it's running inside a much smarter system? Now, this chart is fantastic because it visualizes this new philosophy perfectly. It compares a bunch of different ways to get structured data out of an AI. See those spiky, jagged shapes on the inside? Those are the complex methods trying to be perfect on the first shot. See how they fail all over the place on different tasks? But that smooth, solid shape on the outside? That's the simple verify and retry loop. It's not fancy, but wow, is it robust. It just works consistently. So here's the bottom line. We're talking about a huge shift in thinking. The old way, chasing this perfect output, is just too brittle. It looks great in a lab, but it falls apart when it hits the messiness of the real world. The new way, runtime correction, accepts that the AI will make mistakes and builds a simple, powerful feedback loop to catch and fix them. It's practical, it's scalable, and it actually gets the job done. And look, the numbers here really tell the story. That old perfect generator approach, it gets about 50% coverage. That means it fails half the time. Half! Yeah, it's fast, 1.7 seconds, but who cares if it's wrong? Now look at the verifier loop, the new way. It takes a little longer, 3.6 seconds, but it gets over 94% coverage. You're trading less than 2 seconds for a system that is almost perfectly reliable. That's a no-brainer. So how do we actually build these robust systems? Well, it all starts with our first pillar, autonomy. And the key to it is observability. You can't manage what you can't see, right? So we have to get a clear window into the agent's decision-making process. And the key to this is a concept called introspective logging. This means we stop just logging the final answer. Instead, we log the entire decision path. What was the agent trying to do? What was in its memory at that moment? What options did it consider and then reject? It's like getting the agent's internal monologue, the why behind the what. And once you have that, you can start tracking totally new things. You could call them the agent's cognitive metrics. We're not just watching CPU usage anymore. We're asking real questions. Is the agent stuck? Is it hallucinating? Is it actually getting closer to its goal? It's a huge shift. It's like going from just checking a car's oil temperature to actually understanding where the driver is trying to go and if they've taken a wrong turn.
Okay, so we can see the problems. Now what? That brings us to our second pillar, recovery. Once we spot a failure, the system needs to be able to handle it and get back on track gracefully. This is all about designing for failure, not hoping for perfection.
A classic pro-level technique for this is something called exponential backoff with jitter. It sounds complex, but it's a really smart way to retry things. When a step fails, the system doesn't just immediately try again. It waits, and with each failure, it waits a little longer. That jitter part just adds a tiny bit of randomness to the wait time. And that's absolutely crucial for preventing what's called a thundering herd, where 100 failed processes all retry at the exact same millisecond and bring the whole system down again.
And this all comes together in what's called the durable execution pattern. It's beautiful. So a step fails. First, the system figures out what kind of error it is. Is it a temporary glitch or a fatal flaw? Then, and this is key, it uses checkpointing to save the agent's current state, its memory, its progress. It uses that smart retry logic we just talked about, and when it's ready, it resumes from the last successful step. Not from the beginning. This saves a massive amount of time and resources.
All right, this brings us to our third and maybe the most important pillar, oversight. Think of these as the ultimate safety nets. These are the external rules that make sure that even if an agent goes completely off the rails, the system itself stays in control.
We call these loop guardrails. The magic words here are external and deterministic. These aren't suggestions for the agent. They are hard and fast rules enforced by the system running the agent. Things like, you can't run for more than 100 steps, or if you do the same thing 3 times in a row, you're done. Even if the agent's logic tells it to run forever, the guardrail steps in and says, nope. Bottom line, the system is the boss, not the AI.
But the most powerful guardrail of all gives us this number, a 96% reduction in errors.
How do you get that? By doing this, bringing a human into the loop. Human in the loop, or HITL, is the ultimate form of oversight. It perfectly combines the raw speed and scale of the AI with the nuanced judgment and common sense of a human expert. It creates a safety net that is just astonishingly good at catching problems before they cause any real damage.
And a really smart HITL system isn't just one big red stop button. It's a tiered, risk-based system. For a low-risk error, like a minor typo, an automated fix might be all you need. For something more ambiguous, maybe a human needs to review it before it goes out. But for high-risk stuff, like critical misinformation or a compliance issue, it triggers an immediate human takeover. It's a smart, proportional response.
So, when you pull all this together, what does it mean for the future? Well, this isn't just a new set of debugging tricks. It's really a new way to think about our relationship with these autonomous systems. We're building a future that's based on collaboration, not just code.
You know, this quote just nails it. We're moving past just fixing bugs in code. Our job now is to understand, to interpret, and to guide autonomous behavior. We're not just coders anymore. We're kind of like shepherds for these new, incredibly powerful digital minds. So, you can see the shift happening, right? As the AIs themselves get more and more capable, our role has to evolve. And that leaves us with this final thought to chew on. Is our most important job really building smarter AIs anymore? Or is it building the smarter systems, the wiser guardrails, and the more robust feedback loops that we need to guide them? Thanks for watching.